Hi everybody!
So Digimon Story Time Stranger was recently announced, so now I finally have an excuse to make a video I've wanted to discuss for a while. Should Bandai Namco release a remastered collection of the Digimon World games from the PlayStation 1 era? As of this moment, preservations of games has been spotty at best. In the 90s and 2000s, games were seen as a more disposable piece of media, and thus a lot of developers and publishers weren't exactly diligent when it came to preserving the original source code. In a lot of cases, that code's just gone. Also, during that era, consoles were fully backwards compatible with their previous hardware, if you were on the PlayStation at least. So games like Digimon World titles could be played on PS1, PS2, and PS3 hardware, meaning they were relatively accessible if you had the CD. However, with more recent consoles, backwards compatibility is often seen as an afterthought, which is a bit anti-consumer, but that's for another topic for another day. What I'm mostly getting at here is these games are becoming harder and harder to play through legal means, so a remastered collection would be ideal, and could be something akin to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days collection, which focuses on various Yu-Gi-Oh! Releases from the original Game Boy right up to the Game Boy Advance. There are also enough Digimon games from the PS1 era Bandai Namco could easily put out a remastered collection, as there were 4 games which saw Western releases, and a further 3 which only saw a Japanese release, then a handful of PS2 releases. After that, there's a ton of PSP and DS games that never released outside of Japan. So a collection would be the perfect excuse to localize some of these titles. Are we likely to get a full-blown remastered collection? I kind of doubt it, since some of these games aren't remembered so fondly, like the first 3 World titles, which I do feel are deserving of the remastered treatment, as they're pretty much locked to the PS1 at this point. Plus, we know the PS4 and 5 do have emulation capabilities for the PS1, so they don't even have to do a proper remaster. They could just do a straight port, which could be done really cheaply. Speaking of the porting treatment, the Digimon and gaming communities can actually get directly involved with this. I only found out about this feature on GOG recently. It's called the GOG Dreamlist, where the community votes on games they want to see on GOG, and it actively does contribute to game preservation. And yes, the PS1 Digimon games are on that list. The first World title is actually trending while I write this script. So if you want to see these games return, you can actually actively vote on them returning. The GOG Dreamlist is all well and good, but it preserves the games as they were. It doesn't actually improve the product. Same with the straight PS1 to PS4 and 5 ports. This is where a true remaster would actually greatly benefit these titles, because let's face it, the first 3 Digimon World games all suffer from janky game design. Let's not be delusional here. While a lot of us may love these games, they weren't ever perfectly designed titles. Each had their warts. The first game was basically a take on the V-Pets, and thanks to that, it had a lot of obtuse mechanics, which were smoothed out somewhat with Digimon World Next Order. However, even that title was a little bit obtuse in terms of game design, meaning Digimon World 1 and Next Order are always going to be more niche experiences. And that's fine. They're for people who are really interested in the monster taming side of the series, and those gamers should be serviced. But what of World 2? It followed a different formula entirely, going for a more top-down dungeon crawler with randomly generated elements, while also featuring turn-based combat. Of the 3 World games released on PS1, this is usually people's favorite for whatever reason. However, the obtuse mechanics remained along with really slow animations, and it really pushed what the PS1 hardware was capable of. At times it even lagged loading up menus. A lot of these issues have been fixed whenever people play it via emulation, so it's not like it'd be an impossible feat for Bandai to simply add a speed up mechanic. Introducing save states at any time would also fix a lot of the issues people have with this title. The Digivolution mechanics would still be a bit obtuse, but at least they'd be more manageable with save states. Again, something people have added into the game retroactively thanks to emulation. What of Digimon World 3 then? Of the 3 titles, I'd say this is the one that has aged the most gracefully, as it's just a traditional turn-based JRPG. It still has a lot of poorly explained and obtuse mechanics, but it's smoother than Worlds 1 and 2. The main complaint people have with it mostly comes down to the amount of backtracking required to do a lot of the quests, which could be rectified by allowing the player to use turbo mode, or by updating the game just a little bit by allowing fast travel. Not likely to happen, but would fix a significant amount of the problems people experienced. So it seems like I'm pointing out a lot of flaws, and it begs the question, do the first 3 Digimon World titles actually deserve the remaster treatment? I would say yes, given there's a lot of demand from people to see these games return. If you pop into any Digimon stream on Twitch or even on this platform, you'll often see Digimon fans saying how badly they want these games to get a remaster with some quality of life improvements. This is literally Bandai Namco leaving money on the table. Then again, Bandai has never exactly been the smartest when it comes to giving Digimon fans what they want. For a lot of us, we can't acquire the really cool products Bandai does put out through legal means, which means they're actively preventing themselves from making as much money off the property as they could, either because they market some of the games and products poorly, or because they just aren't available to people who want to support the IP. So I'd say the only way we're going to have these titles accessible through legal means going forward is enough people vote for them to return via GOG. I will put a link to the Dreamlist in the description of the video. That way, those who are interested can just click the link and start voting on any games they'd like to see come back, not just Digimon titles. So, do you have fond memories of the Digimon games from previous generations of hardware? Let me know in the comments. Thanks go out to my current channel members, R. Campbell, Danny Boy, and Doug S. If you'd like to get exclusive content, early access to most videos, and your name added to the credits, you can do so by hitting the join button or the link in the description. Now check out my video on Digimon Time Stranger. And until next time, keep blazing that trail.